So my wife likes to joke with me that everything in my closet is black or gray. She's been kind of bugging me about this for quite some time, but I think what's concerning her more now is that her closet is also starting to become almost all entirely black and gray. And I think it's kind of funny. And I was sitting there last night looking at my closet and going, yeah, you know what? She's right. I got a lot of black and gray sweaters and shirts. I like the simplicity of it. And honestly, if I find something I like, I almost want to just get multiples of it. I think she's concerned that I'm going to start wearing a turtleneck every day like Steve Jobs, just wear the same thing over and over and over again. But I actually do this for a reason. I'm Jason Alcott. If we haven't met before, I'm the author of The Sewing Principle. I want to say thank you to everybody that has already grabbed a copy of the book, and thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already grabbed a copy of the book or subscribed to the channel, please do. The book's available over on Amazon, and hit the subscribe button below so you can keep up and be encouraged each week as we put these videos out there. Thank you for being part of the journey with me. So at the moment, I don't wear the exact same thing every day. I have a limited rotation of things that I kind of wear. And, there's a reason for that. And it's not because I'm a minimalist, although I think I might be headed towards that direction of being a minimalist. And I think that's a whole different discussion for a whole different video. But I do it because I've recognized how a concept called decision fatigue actually impacts me on a day-to-day basis. This concept of decision fatigue basically means that as we reach the limits of our capacity, and this could be on a daily, weekly, or monthly, maybe even an annual basis, with the limits of our capacity to make decisions, as we sort of reach the limits of our capacity from an energy standpoint, we start to make poorer and poorer decisions towards our future. Our decision-making ability sort of degrades, and we make decisions that aren't necessarily always in the best interest of our future self, if that starts to sort of make sense. Maybe you can relate, it's the end of a stressful day, and all of a sudden we're making decisions about food that we choose to eat at the end of the day, or how we're spending our downtime, or whether or not we're actually going to be able to get any physical exercise in. And once we've reached our capacity, we make poorer decisions for our health, or we make poorer decisions about time with family, or whatever it is, because we've hit this point and we were experiencing decision fatigue. And I think that can happen not just on a daily basis, but I think that can happen on a daily, weekly, monthly, maybe even yearly basis when we look at everything that we've been going through over the last 24, 18 months of different pandemic and different things that have gone through all of our lives. I think we're at a point where in certain parts of our life we've reached this capacity and we're hitting a wall, and it's tough for us to continue to make decisions that are going to benefit our future. And so we find ourselves making poorer decisions, which can compound over time and head us in the wrong direction. So what can we do about this? I've kind of got three ideas that I wanted to share with you. And the first one is just to recognize that you do have a capacity, and inside of a given day, I think you probably have started to recognize, I've started to recognize that there are certain parts of my day where I know that I've got more capacity, more ability to make key decisions, more ability to make simple decisions, and know where my strengths lie. So for me personally, once I'm up, I've had breakfast and I'm moving, that's sort of my key. Like I can really, if I need to make challenging decisions, that's the best time of day for me to be able to do that. If I need to be able to make a key decision, if I put that off to the end of the day, it's going to take longer and it feels like walking through quicksand. It can be the same way with projects. If there's things I've got to do and it's sort of the end of my day or at the end of my capacity, I know that it's going to take me longer. It's going to take more mental capacity for me to do it if I can't fit it in earlier in my day. So just recognizing that alone, and if I look at my days or weeks ahead and I look at, okay, I'm going to need to be able to make key decisions about this today or tomorrow or whatever it is, can I slot that into a time in my day where I'm going to actually have the capacity to do it and not push it off or procrastinate until all of a sudden I find myself fatigued and trying to make a decision under fatigue and making maybe the poorer decision or the decision that isn't right in that moment. The second thing that I do is I've been experimenting with is I try to look at my day, the day coming up, and see if there's anything that I can do that will allow me to make a decision now so that I don't have to make a decision tomorrow, just in the simple things. And this is where it comes back to my black and gray closet, because I bring that up because what I do is I look at what I'm going to actually pick out what I'm going to wear for the next day the night before. I just pull down the shirt and the gray sweater, laugh all you want, but pick out which black shirt, which black sweater. It's pretty funny. But I also, decision made. made. I don't have to make that decision tomorrow. I'm also making the decision, what am I going to grab for breakfast or eat for breakfast? Can I make that decision now? Can I pre-make a lunch and make a decision what lunch is going to be, for work, so that I'm not trying to make that decision in the morning? And each time I make one of those little decisions, it's adding to my capacity for the next day. So that's in the decision making, but also I look at things of what can I habitualize into my life. So we've talked about habits a little bit. What can I add into my life as a habit so that I know that in the morning when I'm tired, 5:30 in the morning, trying to figure things out, it's not like I'm asking the question, whether or not I am or am not going to read my Bible every day, or whether or not I am or am not going to be able to do devotions, or whatever it is for you that you're trying to incorporate into your life. I've actually been able to make that a habit. So, I sit down to eat breakfast, and that's when I read my Bible. And that's when I do the devotions. It's a part of it's a part of each day. It's just a part of my routine. So I'm not making that decision in the morning whether I'm going to do those things. It's a habit. It's ingrained. So I'm trying to find what are the things that I can make the decision for ahead of time, and then what are the things that I can habitualize so that the decision's already made on an ongoing basis. Now, does this work perfectly? Of course not. Just this week, slept through my alarm. Thankfully had a number of decisions already made for me, right? So I was able to just cut out a couple of things, speed up that morning routine, move through it, but I was still able to actually get it all done. I did the devotions. I was able to listen to my devotions in the car on the drive to work, eat on the fly, eat in the car, whatever it is that you need to do. But it was helpful to already have the decisions made. Give yourself grace. It's not going to work out perfect every day. That's for sure. My life's far from it. And the third thing that I'm kind of experimenting with and finding really effective when I'm recognizing that I'm in a moment of decision fatigue where I'm already tired, but I don't have the ability or the capacity to push this off, this task or project or decision into the next day, is to change my environment. And it can be a couple of really simple little things. One is, if I've got the opportunity and I can actually get physically active, so that could be go for a walk, a run, whatever it is, I know that can make a huge difference in my ability to kind of get my thoughts flowing again, get back into a zone where I can actually make things happen, be able to make decisions. If I don't have the ability to do that, even just changing my environment. So can I move from one room of working to another space because I need to change tasks or be able to make decisions? Can I get to a Starbucks to be able to work on something? Whatever it is, can I change my environment wherever it is that I feel stuck mentally, emotionally, or physically stuck? Can I change that? Can I move to a new space and actually allow things to change so that I can open up that flow of ideas? And when those two things aren't possible, I've also found it can be incredibly successful just to put some music on. Just put some music on, put some ambient music on. What can I listen to? I listen to some Christian instrumental music, and it's been great. It just sort of changes my mindset, changes my flow, and I'm able to work, make decisions, and move forward. Just by doing that simple change in my environment can make a massive shift in my ability to move forward. But I have to recognize those moments. That comes back to point number one, is recognizing those moments when I'm at a point of decision fatigue and recognize that I need to change my environment. The goal here is to try and put myself in a position where I continue to make decisions that move me towards God's purpose in my life. Pastor Michael Todd, who's a pastor out of the States, an incredible church called Transformation Church, I've been listening to some of his sermons, and he said this line. He says, most of us would prefer our preference over God's purpose. And I'm like, wow, isn't that so true? We prefer our preference of comfort or instant gratification over God's purpose. And I think when I'm talking about something like decision fatigue, I think that our preference becomes sort of magnified. It becomes the thing that we would rather move towards rather than maybe something that we know that's going to move us towards God's call or purpose in our life. So if there's anything I can do to prevent that from happening, to sort of shore myself up, to give myself the strength or the capacity to move towards God's purpose as compared towards my personal preference, I know that I'm moving in the right direction. And then just to wrap up, James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, says that every choice that we make is a vote for our future self. So I just wanted to say today that I am voting for your purpose. I'm voting for God's purpose in your life. So I just want to encourage you, go out there, make great decisions. Continue to learn about yourself, continue to learn about your capacity. Have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, and I look forward to sharing with you again next week.